Write a story on the enemy. We were deep within enemy territory, but we had not encountered any enemy soldiers. I was anxious. I wondered if the enemy was somehow watching us all the time and planning a devastating attack. We were too deep in enemy territory to be able to withdraw to our own lines or even for our company to help us. We were on an independent platoon mission, to find the enemy location and report back. It had sounded so easy when the officer commanding, OC, had told me, but I was not so sure now. I looked around at the men. I could see that they all depended on my judgment. They were young men of about 18 years old, and this was their first mission. "Lieutenant," said George, my youngest man, "do you think that maybe the enemy is watching and waiting for us?" I was startled by his remark, because it reflected my innermost fear. "I hope not," I replied casually. I had realized some time ago that if I did not worry, they did not. They took their cue from me. "We'll set up our base here," I said, and pointed to the thicket. Sergeant Lim took over straight away and began giving sharp commands. Within minutes the camp had been set up. It was only on the next day that we encountered the enemy, but the encounter was far different from what we had expected it to be. From the top of the nearby hill, where I had sighted the observation post, Corporal Ilango reported suspicious movements. I alerted my platoon and then ran up the hill to take a look for myself. Ilango pointed to a platoon of enemy soldiers. They were moving cautiously along the track heading straight for our location. Ordering Ilango to continue observing and reporting, I hurried down to prepare for battle. Within minutes we laid an ambush and waited. Soon the enemy platoon came into view. What we saw shocked all of us. The so-called troops were a platoon of boys, average age about 15. They carried themselves bravely though. I looked around at my platoon. Their rifles were at the ready and they waited for my command. I was to start firing first and they would follow. From the advantageous positions we were in, we could wipe them out in 10 minutes. I held my breath and waited. I looked at my men, they were tensed. The enemy walked right into our ambush area. They looked tired and worn out. I realized that I now held the lives of about 30 boys in my hands. All I had to give was one command, but I could not. The idea of mowing down a group of boys did not appeal to me at all. Mercifully enough, the platoon of boys turned back exactly 20 meters from where we were. Within half an hour, they had disappeared where they had come from. I looked around at my men. They looked back at me silently. "We have detected the enemy, and that was our mission," I announced. "Let's move back, Sergeant." The platoon assembled and Sergeant Lim came up to me. "Thank you, sir," he said, "I couldn't have killed them too." I nodded and looked at the men. All of them looked sad, then one of them spoke. "Thanks for not making us kill those boys, sir," he said. "Yes, thank you, sir," murmured the others. "Let's move, Sergeant," I said, turning around to hide the tears that were forming in my eyes. I realized how much we hated war, though we were all professional warriors.